This was Tulsa in the 1950s when it had 2 television stations and was about to get a third. Work had just started on the Will Rogers Turnpike, there would be a new courthouse, and the city was on the verge of major growth.
Well, from the beginning, I knew that we would have to have the Tulsa market, always, from the very beginning.
I welcome this opportunity because without the wonderful support that you all have given us, we could not have achieved what I feel has been a very successful first year.
Well, I think the best word to describe it as far as organizing a news department, we were very primitive.
We had what now, looking back, seems like a terribly makeshift operation in a way.
We've made most of the mistakes one-year-olds are supposed to make. In fact, we made a few they're not supposed to make. And we know that you've been watching us because when we make a mistake, you tell us about it.
Well, I take great pride in Tulsa and all of eastern Oklahoma, but great, great pride in Tulsa. Tulsa is one of the most beautiful cities in the world, one of the greatest cities in the world. More things have happened in Tulsa in the last 25 years that have had to do with the world than many people know. And I also get great satisfaction, Bob, in having played a part in the development of every bit of it.
We moved from the East Side Boulevard, which was then KTVX for the call letters. We later changed that to KTUL. Then later we bought UHF television station from Mr. Alfred Beck on Lookout Mountain, Red Fork Station.
It is our anniversary, but just as much yours. It may physically begin right here on Lookout Mountain. This was the groundbreaking for a television station that would not survive. The building would, however, and become the location, although no one knew it at the time, for one of the leading television stations in the United States, which was first called KTVX. This football game, Oklahoma versus California, was the first program ever seen on Channel 8 on September 18th, 1954. Oklahoma won. The program was symbolic, for the station's association with sports would intensify. But in the beginning, the station was looking for almost any type of programming.
ABC was only feeding a half-hour a day down the cable at that time, and we were the third station on the air here, and the other two had been on for some time, and NBC and CBS both had been sending programs into Tulsa for quite a while, and so we had to fill 17 and a half hours a day with local programming and or films. It was starting from scratch, you might say, and I'm still go around kind of with my chest out when Channel 8 turns up to be the first in the market, because it wasn't so in the beginning. And we were the promoting the station that but these were the problems of getting our share of the audience and getting people to tune to a news channel.
I've been drawing Gusty since the day I came in September of 1954. So we thought we'd just let the people that watched the station name the little characters. So we had a big contest, and everybody in eastern Oklahoma could send in a name for this little cartoon character, and we had a drawing, and Gusty finally won. And the prize was a great big basket of groceries.
The studio crew would always try to break him up in some way, because they seemed to relish the thought of Don Woods breaking up while he was doing a commercial. They slipped some soap into the candy. I always used to take a bite of candy and tell the people how delicious this was, you know. And one particular night he bit down on this candy that was loaded with soap, and the close-up expressions on his face were just hilarious.
And I don't know if it sold more products or not, but at least we had a good time doing them.
We did have what I call very adequate studios for that time. It was sort of like flying blind, Bob, without any instruments, I suppose you might say, because there were few people in the United States who had any experience at all in television.
When we got the grant for our television station and started work on it, I knew I was going to television one way or another. So I made life miserable for everybody until they agreed that I would be the first salesman when we went on the air in 1954. It was very exciting, especially in view of the fact that our studio was in Muskogee, 60 miles away.
Back then we didn't have the staff that we have now, so everybody had to double up and do a little of everything. It was a lot of fun. You kept busy, and whatever it took to get the job done, why, there was always somebody there that was versatile enough that could go in and take care of the situation. Live commercials were something else again. We had no facilities for taping. Oh, we could film them. Everything, of course, was in black and white, but no teleprompters.
For the very finest in radio enjoyment, folks, get a new 1954 Philco table radio.
Well, I came with the company, which was known as KTUL Radio, in 1942.
Throughout its 25 years, KTUL-TV has developed a tradition of excellence in children's programs. The first was hosted by noted Creek Indian artist A.C. Blue Eagle, 90 minutes, live, 5 days a week. And then along came another program that would last for 7 years. Starting on January 26, 1963, the star was John Chick.
Mr. Zing and Tuffy was a lot of fun, and it was kind of seat-of-the-pants television, which made it very exciting. Now, we did plan a lot of things, but of course, especially when you're dealing with about 35 children on each show, you really don't know what's going to happen.
Are we on?
We did everything, unicycling, trapeze work, tumbling of all kinds. We'd race bicycles and pratfalls of all kinds. It's a wonder we didn't get killed during that, well, 7 years of it.
I suppose that all the way around, the past 25 years has reinforced all of the things that we have believed in, much more, and so that today when you embark upon the next 25, you know that you are on the right track.
The progress of this city and KTUL-TV are inseparable. As one has grown, so has the other. Unsteady at times, perhaps, but the direction has always been forward. Tulsa looks vastly different than it did back in 1954. Here, in fact, is how it looked with a skyline that hadn't perceptibly changed since the late 20s. But the change did come. And who can argue that the modern look isn't better? The new all around us, but mainly complementing the aging old. The dignity of the past preserved. And so it is with television, so it is with this station.